another Mr. Papetti production.
I've got properties, got a lot of properties. Some are for the real numbers, some are of a quality you try to memorize as a student. Often ends in cries, but not if you're my student. Distributive property looks something like this. When there is a negative, make sure you don't miss. Multiply all the terms by the coefficient. Don't forget any or you'll be inefficient. Commutative property, it's like a commute. If you're going there, in fact, you take the same route. So 5 times 2 is also 2 times 5. But it only applies when you add or multiply. I've got properties, got a lot of properties. Some are for the real numbers, some are of a quality you try to memorize as a student. Often ends in cries, but not if you're my student. Last one for the reals is associative. And for this property, think of how you live. You hang out with your friend and forget about C, but sometimes B and C hang out without me. The order of the variables will never ever change. Only the parentheses will rearrange. Here's examples of all three. Which of these is what? Property. We're gonna move on to equality. Additive property is the first one we'll see. You can add or subtract the same amount for free. Do it to both sides to preserve equality. And if you need to multiply or divide, that's perfectly okay if it's on each side. But dividing is multiplying by a fraction. This we call the multiplicative reaction. I've got properties, got a lot of properties. Some are for the real numbers, some are of a quality you try to memorize as a student. Often ends in cries, but not if you're my student. You thought it was over, well it's not, because I'm coming back with one final verse. Your brain is scattering, those brain cells disperse. Distributive, commutative, associative, multiplicative, and don't forget the one additive. I'm trying to tell you, I got properties, got a lot of properties. Owning all these properties just like I won Monopoly. Trying to put them in the brains of the students. Have it running through the veins of the students. I've got properties, got a lot of properties. Some are for the real numbers, some are of a quality you try to memorize as a student. Often ends in cries, but not if you're my student.
Math is awesome.